I'm often asked, what is it like to have a psychic mediumship reading with Melanie? And I truly believe that every psychic medium is different and every medium will read you differently. Often, when I am seeing a client, I like to have as little information about them as possible. I will usually just ask your first name, I will have you say it and spell it, and then I take about a moment or two with my spirit guides, loved ones in spirit, and also tap into psychic information that I'm receiving off your energy, off your aura, or even from just my spirit guides speaking with your guides and communicating with me. I always suggest to anyone receiving a reading from me that they take notes, because often I'm going to pick up information that you might not understand or might not be able to validate at that moment. If there's a loved one or a family member that comes in, or an uncle that you do not know, and they for some reason come into the reading, it's good to write that information down so that you can take that to family and then go ahead and ask them questions to be able to validate information in the reading. There is psychic information that I might receive as far as a job that might be upcoming, location change, or trips and travel plans that you might not be aware of. So again, to jot that down, it's just interesting when those things happen to manifest. And I find that to be the fun part of a psychic mediumship reading is how the reading will carry with you even a year or so out. Do I think that a person needs to have a psychic reading? Is it necessary to have a psychic reading? No, I don't think anybody needs to come and see a psychic. We're on this world, we're on this planet to live and experience, to learn lessons and to grow. And we're more than capable of growing and living and doing what we need in this world without having to see a psychic. So why see a psychic? Or why see a medium? There's many reasons that people do it, and I can understand. I think that it's very fun, first off. It's enjoyable. It's incredible how a person can tap into somebody else's energy and then pass information that there is no way that they could know that. It is fun to be able to speak with your loved ones on the other side. Some people do not have that closure when their loved ones pass. And when a loved one steps in, it's nice to be able to communicate. It is refreshing to know that there is another side. There is something beyond this planet Earth. There is an afterlife. When I do a reading for somebody, my intention is to be able to pass information to my client that is useful, information that is helpful for them to grow as a person. A lot of people would say that as far as my personality goes or who I am as a person, I constantly get the comment that I'm rainbow and butterflies. I am. I can be. And if you come for a reading for me, I tend to read the rainbows and the butterflies. Often I don't pick up a lot of negative information. I find that if there was negative information to pass, I would hope that when I pass it, I could give you something useful to grow from that. So I don't tend to focus on the negative because that's not useful. I tend to focus on the positive qualities or good things that are coming up for somebody so that they have something to look forward to. If there was negative things going on in someone's life, I might pick it up. I might be passing that information. But if my reading was created to try to point out all the negative things, then I don't see that to be very useful in how somebody grows. Not everybody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. So we all do have negative things that are in our life. But for me, the intention to come for a psychic reading is to try to balance out that life and to focus on the positive, to be able to grow, to be able to change, and to be more useful and helpful for ourselves and for other people. There's two different parts to a psychic mediumship reading. When you pick up psychic information, or when I pick up psychic information, oftentimes I am tapping into your aura or your energy. I am jumping into your timeline or your lifeline, I like to say, and I am picking things out that are interesting, useful, helpful, just fun to know. I might know what you did last week or where you stopped before you even came in for your reading. I might know what your kids are doing at that time. I might pick up the past houses you have lived in, or the trips where you have traveled, or even where you're going to go in the future. I pick up things like job change, if there's going to be an income change. I might know things about certain particular family members, dogs, and past loved ones that have crossed just from psychic information, not even speaking to a loved one on the other side. What's interesting about being read by a psychic is we can see things that you don't even see coming, or we can help to identify the outcome that's going to be achieved through a certain situation, or answer some question. Do psychics have every answer? I don't. I am psychic, but I don't get every answer. And I try to keep my integrity. If you were to ask a question and I wasn't receiving an answer, it is unfortunate that I can't give that answer to you, but I will tell you that I do not have that response, or I do not have that answer that you are looking for. Sometimes we're not given information. Why? I think that there's things that we have to figure out ourselves as humans to grow. So having every answer isn't always useful. What is it like for me being a medium? Often I'll pick up spirit and they come in behind me. They'll step in behind me, or to the left and to the right of me, and then communicate. As a medium, I have picked up spirit in a lot of different ways. I would say the majority of the time that I pick up my information is from hearing them. So spirits will talk to me and then I'll interpret the message that they're saying. I'll also see a movie or images that come across, or a picture that's shown, and then I can interpret that message. I, once in a while, not all the time, will get symptoms of something that might have been going on when they were living or when they had crossed. So if somebody was having a heart attack, or if their lungs were really congested, I might feel that. I might feel pressure up in the back of my head if a person would have had head trauma. I also, and I find it very interesting, but I have also had like the taste of something. So if the spirit really liked maybe gummy bears, I would taste gummy bears or chocolate. You can smell smoke. So if someone was a smoker, smoke would come in. I would feel like I'm smelling smoke in the room. And I think that often there's times where just people that aren't even mediums will notice they walk into the room and they might smell their grandmother's perfume, or they'll smell cigarette smoke and it reminds them of their father. So that happens to us also. My psychic mediumship readings usually last about 30 minutes. Sometimes I might run a little over if I have a very active spirit that wants to communicate, or there's a lot of information that needs to be passed. But for the average person, I would say about 30 minutes is how long my readings take. I always like to tell my clients that it is interesting and it is enjoyable to get a psychic mediumship reading. It is nice to have a little heads up about events or talk to your loved ones in spirit. But my best advice, especially if you were to come see me, would be to wait about 6 months to a year before coming back. Our lives are not really that exciting all the time. We don't have a lot of change unless there's some big situation going on. So the psychic information and what I might pick up might take about 6 months or a year for me to get something new and different and exciting. Loved ones in spirit, they can't come through all the time. They do have a life on the other side. So if I was to pick up a loved one, I can't promise that if you come back in a couple months that I would be able to pull them through. So I always think it's best to have a little bit of space before seeing me. I find that when I read somebody, it's more effective if there is distance between the readings. I can't always promise what loved one comes in to talk, and I can't always promise that I'll even speak to somebody in spirit. I can tell you that we always have spirit around us and that they're always there. But there are certain times when loved ones choose to step in to communicate. So is it a guarantee that I can pick up if you've lost somebody in spirit and you're asking to come to a reading to speak with that one individual person? I can't promise that. But if there is someone in the room that wants to talk or follows you in for your reading, I will definitely communicate that message. What do I hope my clients receive in a reading? I hope they receive validation from spirit loved ones that come in, that they know without a shadow of a doubt that their loved ones are here with them all the time, and that I hope that I have the opportunity to be able to bring a validated message across from them and let them know that the other side exists, and that when we pass, our soul does carry on.